So, um, 5 minutes ago, well, 20 minutes ago, John and I realized that we had different definitions of what this video is going to be. So, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, so
Very,
just
very.
oh yeah, discussion. Yeah, so top 10 final guys, and just from movies, not from the series, because that would be really hard for me.
What do you
If
mean
I
just from movies, not from series?
like not from TV, like not from like
Okay,
The
okay,
Walking Dead or yeah, because
okay, okay.
there's a lot of good final dudes in The Walking Dead, like Buffy, Angel, like there's other
I
horror
was about to say,
franchises.
man, we really did not talk about the rules for this then. Because,
No,
ooh,
so
I've got
my
lots of franchises.
okay, so real quick, Caleb, I just wanted to talk to you about a couple things real quick. So I watched Cabin Fever, like you told me to.
The original?
Yeah, from 2002, whatever it was, 2008, somewhere in there.
Thoughts, feelings, emotions?
It was a good one-time watch. I liked seeing the actor from Boy Meets World in it. I liked the guy from Detroit Rock City's in it. Love that actor. Wish he would have done more. It was a good watch. I was just like, I don't see myself revisiting this. It was
Dude, I
really,
love that movie.
it's really like gruesome, and it makes you feel like, yeah, maybe this could happen. Like the fantastical wasn't really there, which is good because it really kept it.
Yeah.
It was good. I don't know. I just didn't feel the need to revisit it. It was good. I don't know. It was good.
Just
I felt the
disappointing.
same way. I watched High Tension as well.
You
And
felt
I enjoyed it all the way through. Solid movie. Yep. Good characters all around. Good bad guy.
well. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. How did you feel when he threw the head out the window?
In the beginning, that was nice. We talk about it occasionally when a
That was
movie.
nice.
Well, it's nice when a movie kind of gives you a pre-warning to what you're getting into. Like we talk about like Jason 6 with like the Bond intro, Friday the 13th Part 3 with the that doom 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 doom. You know what I'm talking about? Like it gives you an
Yeah.
idea what you're in for. So the movie like shifts tones occasionally from kind of like wild and wacky and then horrific and then super scary, super on edge, like
So
it. Go ahead.
my question to you on this move on that movie, on both those movies, do you see why they made my summer list?
Yeah. I could. Yeah. Yeah. They're good movies. They are solid good movies. I just think the rewatch is low. Um.
Man,
Yeah.
but you're wrong. You're
Yeah. I
wrong.
know. I could be. I did enjoy them though. I just. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Someday maybe I'll go back to them. I don't know.
My thing is, I made a couple sales, so I bought a couple used DVDs. I got Nightmare Cinema, which is a Shudder anthology film that I really, really, really enjoy. But I couldn't find it new anywhere, so I ordered it used. And I used to have a Shudder subscription, but part of cutting costs is letting that go. I also got
Yeah.
Open 24 Hours, which should be here tomorrow. I cannot believe how out of nowhere good that movie was. I was not expecting a modern horror movie, to actually draw me in that much, especially one with a minimal budget. Once I get it, I was going to try and get me and you to sit down at some point and watch it, because that one is ridiculously like gripping. It's good. It's good.
Yeah. You still need to watch Surviving the Game, you turd.
No.
All right.
No, I need to, but I've got your stack of movies and season 2 of Terminator that I need to watch, and then I I'm going to do like you, and I'm going to start pulling out the movies in my collection that I haven't watched just a little bit. Um, because I'm doing this thing where I'm recycling stuff that I've seen when I do get time down here, or I do get time to draw, or do get time to work on a costume or something like that. Instead of, watching something new, I pop in the same old, same old. Lately, it's been Texas Chainsaw Next Generation, Jason Goes to Hell, Bride of Chucky, and The Collector have been my go-to movies for whatever reason. I don't know why, but they have been.
Yeah, I watched. It's so weird because every time I watch a Friday the 13th movie, even though I've seen them a ton of times, they do this a lot. And it seems like the ones I really, really loved, they still hold up theirs for the most part. But the ones I didn't love as much kind of creep up a little bit. And I just, I watched part 7, and I was just, I don't know, maybe I was coming off the high of 3, because I watched 3, 4, and 7 this weekend, and I just had a blast from start to finish. God dang.
7's still one of my favorites. The scariest Jason. Come on. That is the scariest looking Jason. And in a fight between all of the Jasons that have existed, I think that Jason has the best chance. I'm just saying.
Other than Uber, yeah.
Him, Uber, and Goes to Hell. Just because, Deadite. But that's different.
The nice thing, too, about watching these movies is, every time I watch one, on top of also enjoying it more, it seems like, every time I watch one, I always, that Jason seems to move up a little bit. I'm always I think they're here. Yeah. Oh, wait, I really like this. There's the top 3 or 4 Jasons are just so good. I wouldn't argue anybody, the top 3 Jasons. But we'll get into that. But, okay, so do you have some honorable mentions?
You do?
I do.
I don't.
Okay, I'm going to just blast through them real quick. An honorable mention for me is going to be Riddick.
I do have one after you go through yours.
Okay, so Riddick from Pitch Black. Pitch Black is awesome. He's a super cool final guy. That moment when he's got in the monster and he's going side to side, something off of Jurassic Park or something like that. Super good movie. I love him as a character, so I was he needs to be said. I'm gonna say Seth from Dusk Till Dawn. George Clooney's awesome. Those tattoos, the suit, the brother thing, the being thrust in a situation where you're surrounded by vampires, and he's just a BA the entire time. I thought I felt like he really needed to be on the list. Josh Hartnett, pretty much in any movie he's in, 30 Days of Night, he's a good final guy in that one. He's decent in H2O. He's good in The Faculty. I like Josh Hartnett, but and then who else we got here? Jack Crow from Vampires is a good final guy, but he was born and bred into it, kind of. Not born into it, but from a young age. Anyway, and then I think I've got one more. And it hurts. It hurts it didn't make the list. My wife and I had a good 10-minute argument about why it should or should not make the list. I think it should. My wife thinks it shouldn't. She argued enough to kick it off the list, and that is John Connor. John Connor was on there at a very high spot, and then he fell off the list completely. My wife did not want to hear me out that the first movie is a horror action sci-fi. She was like, "It's action sci-fi." I was like, "No, it's horror." There's horror elements in that all across the board. And then his mom basically gets him to survive in the second one. He's not really in the fourth one, yes, but he's not really a solid final guy. He becomes the final guy in the franchise. It's always an overlooming thing, but he's not really a great final guy. Anyway,
I toggled with putting him on the list, but ultimately I decided against it just because, the shift from T1 to the rest of the films. And I wasn't sure how horror we were going with this, so I left him off. Um, my sole honorable mention is actually going to be Dr. Gordon from Saw. I really thought about putting him on the list. But some of these others have a larger cultural impact just because of how long they've been there, how big their name is, how much bigger the film is than Saw, or how much of an impact they've had in the community throughout the years. Some of these, when they first came out, zero impact. People didn't like them. Nobody considered it a good movie. And then all of a sudden, like 10 years later, the kids love it, you know? So my honorable mention is Dr. Gordon from Saw. I mean, he went through a lot.
Yeah, he did. God, I love that movie. Okay, so my list, I tried to balance it between what the character is going through and how much I love the character, how much the character you can depend on, how much you feel like they are able to handle any situation you throw at them. So it was a weird combination. There are some on my list I could see moving and flip-flopping a little bit, but I fought with this list for way too long. I really did. I was like, I'm putting more thought into this.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I didn't struggle too much with this list. My issue was finding enough and having the time to think about it because I've been pretty busy. But for me, I actually did rank them out, but it was more on a personal impact kind of level. That said, the top 5 of mine could move around a little bit, but the bottom 5 are in their order, if that makes sense. Like, the top 5 could have some wiggle room.
Yeah, I'm with that. I understand that. My number 1 is solid, and if you don't have my number 1, you're wrong. I don't want to hear it. There's no excuses. I'm sorry, you're wrong.
If you don't have my number 1, you're wrong.
We'll see. We will argue when we get there. You go first. What is your number 10?
Paul from Friday the 13th Part 2. Nobody gets to disappear like Paul. That is a cultural phenomenon. Paul! Dude, but years later, there was like an unrated cut of Friday the 13th Part 2, which shows him with a gash to his face. But it's still unclear if he's alive or dead. So, therefore, his is the most unique. So he makes this list just because he's a talking point throughout the Friday the 13th fans to this day from a movie that long ago. Like, the fact that a person who may or may not have died, who just happened to disappear, that was a big deal in the first half of the movie and then is just gone, is still talked about, is super awesome. So Paul made my list as a gag, but also, like, there's an impact there. Like, horror fans talk about Paul. Like, where did Paul go? What happened?
And when it comes to, like, handling Jason, I think he's up there with handling him the most. Now, granted, this is probably the weakest form of Jason, but he goes toe-to-toe with Jason long enough where she should be able to either bail or help out, but instead she just sits there and is like, Paul? He's like, what? I'm kind of busy. Like, what? Yeah. It's so annoying. Like, help him, dude. But, yeah, that's interesting. I would not have guessed that one. Spoiler, he did not make my list.
That's fair. I don't think he should, but he made
my number 10 is a strong final guy, super strong, and he actually could have moved up 3 or 4 spots. Like, I would not argue with anybody that puts him above my other 2 or ahead of him. But anyway, that is Arkin from The Collector and the Collection. Arkin he's got an arc to him. He's not exactly he's not a superhero. He's not like a great honest dude. He's just an everyday guy that's got some skills. He's got some issues. He's going through some stuff. And he's very resourceful, and he's just awesome to watch. Like, he's very charismatic. I love Arkin so much from The Collector and the Collection.
Yeah.
If you guys haven't watched that, you got to watch that movie. Super intense.
Yeah, solid pick. He is on my list, just not this low. My next, since John added it earlier to a different list, I decided I could add it to this one. So Dutch from Predator is my number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dutch
I
is so
mean,
good, dude.
what he goes through, what he does, how he survives. I mean, come on. He deserves to be on the list. So, number 9 final guy for me, Dutch from Predator.
I did think about putting him on the list. I really did. I think his limit in the franchise is kind of what kept him back a little bit. But no, dude, like it's so cool because like there's so many great characters along that whole movie, and like everybody's got their own little thing. And then Dutch is kind of the guy who's got a little bit of everything, and he's the leader. And that final standoff is just so good. So
absolutely.
my number 9 is gonna make people upset, and I could be wrong, but this is just where I feel he lands, and that is Tommy Jarvis. Look, dude sees Jason for the last 5 minutes of the 4th movie. Okay, in the 5th movie, he's not even. He's just. I mean, he's got some awesome moments in 5. Like he learned to fight. In 6, he makes a couple dumb moves, and then he ends up, showing up at the end, and like. He's a final guy. He's a good final guy. It's just he's played by 3 different people. It just he's got to land somewhere. He's got to be on the top 10, but he lands pretty short. I did put him over Arkin though. I think Arkin, there's an argument that is a better final guy than Tommy Jarvis, but it's Friday the 13th. It's Jason. It's zombie Jason. So got to put him there. Dude, I struggle with this list, man.
Yeah. That hurts a little bit. Number 8 for me is going to be John from Halloween H2O. I mean, not great, not terrible. I know a lot of people have their issues with H2O. I'm not necessarily the biggest H2O fanboy, but I do enjoy the movie itself. I like the concept. I like the return to form. I think that, as the years have progressed, it's definitely the film that brought back that late 90s horror, for better or for worse. I love it. It's good. I do think if it was a little bit less on the CW side, it would be a better movie.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm sick of people comparing it to Scream. I was going to freak out if you said it. Like,
no.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to hear it ever again. Like, stop it, guys. Just because it has some music in there and it's got the vibes of 90s does not make it Scream automatically. I just don't understand that criticism. I understand that the writer's the same writer.
I can draw the similarities, but that's not a thing that I have a problem with at all. For me, the problem is the over-the-top teenage drama with it. Just feels a little bit out of place.
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, compared to some other things like H18, but I wouldn't. But anyway, the only thing I would say negative about H2O is the mass debacle. But no, yeah, John is a good one. I did think of him on there. I did want to give him an honorable mention. He did go toe to toe with Michael for about a second, but I couldn't put him on here. My number 8 is going to be Andy from Child's Play. So Andy in the first one doesn't have a whole lot going on. In the second one, he's way more brave and he's got a lot more to do. In the third one, he's got even more to do and he's a stronger character. And now he's kind of spoilers for the show, but he's in the trailer. So now he's coming back to fulfill his role. He's one of the better final guys. I think he had to be on the list, so I put him at number 8.
Yeah, no, that's fair. What's really funny about that is he's my number 7. He's a staple in one of the biggest horror franchises in the world. So, and he's grown up being in that franchise. I think that the biggest disservice was the studio's push to change Child's Play 3 and remove him as an actor from the franchise for so long. Bringing him back has been a breath of fresh air. I think John and I both agree on that. Like, getting him back in the franchise is awesome. I enjoy the kind of the development that he got from that innocent child to this kind of ruthless adult. It's fitting. It's fitting. And yeah, he definitely deserves a spot on a Final Guy list, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hope he does take a little bit more acting lessons though, because like his acting in the series is not very good. If I put a bag over a mannequin, I think he'd have a better performance. But I don't know.
I enjoyed it in Cult of Chucky.
It wasn't too bad in Cult, but it lingers a little too long in the show to where you got to give a little something, and it feels like it's missing a little bit.
I feel like that's also part of the like sitcom TV sci-fi element that it's got going on too.
Yeah. But he can't really emote the damage, and he can't really emote the trauma or the disconnect. Like there's just something where it's like a lack of, he's just not quite selling it. But anyway, let's see. So that's my number 7. This one's a weird one, and it's not a strong one, but it is a strong one.
Wait.
It's one that I.
Come on. That was my number 7, so now it's your number 7. Just making sure we're on the same page, so you don't skip one.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
My number
cool,
7.
cool.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Yeah.
Sorry.
No. This one, like I said, it's one that had to make the list, but it just had to fall somewhere because of the stakes, because of what the character went through, and that is Dr. Robert Neville from I Am Legend. I mean, somewhat spoilers for the beginning of the movie, but it's like the first 5 minutes. Dude loses everything. Kid, wife, everybody. He's the last man standing, and he survives all of that and all of the zombie/vampires, whatever you want to call them. I know there's arguments out there. I don't care. And he is surviving day after day for the hope to find a cure. And the trauma that he has to go through is just, it's on another level. I cannot imagine that much solitude, that much separation, that much danger all around you all the time. Like, you make one mistake and it's done. Like, he had to fall on the list, but he's a weird one. Anyway.
Solid pick. I didn't even think of him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Personally, I probably would have put him in an honorable mention, but yeah, that's a solid pick. My number 6, he had to be on my list. Absolutely. It's a movie that was pushed to our age group. It got its whole franchise, and that's going to be Alex from Final Destination. I mean, You had Devon Sawa as Alex. You had him show up in Idle Hands. I haven't seen the last 2 Final Destination films, honestly. So, other than maybe a few kill scenes, but I've heard rumor that he's in it. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no clue, but I know he's what carried that first movie, and I don't care who says what. It's just true. I watched that movie. Yeah. I really watched that movie for him. He does a really good job with it. So he had to make my list. He was very believable as a teenager going through this thing where he's not sure if he's crazy or not, but he thinks he's not, and then he's proven that he's not. And so he definitely had to make my list.
Yeah. I just rewatched those. I think they were mostly all on Netflix, but yeah, I've seen them all. I won't spoil it from you, but like they do kind of go up and downhill, but God, if they're not still fun to watch the chaos. That's what you go there for. You go for the shtick. You go for the gimmick of how are they going to die? Like, most of the character development's gone after the first, 2 movies.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Tony Todd is awesome. So, got to say that. My number 6 is Brody from Jaws. Now, you shut your hole about Jaws. My wife already said the same crap you said 2 weeks ago. I don't want to hear it anymore. Yes. I don't know what it is with you kids and Jaws, and you can't put the respect that it deserves. But Brody
kids? Grandpa, are you okay?
No, adult here, okay? Calm down, son. Brody is...
Put that in your bed and smoke it.
He tries to go to an island to live a quieter life. He doesn't like the water. Then the sharks attack. Then he has to rise to the occasion, and he has to go out on a boat to the middle of the ocean. stranded. The help can't really get to you. Like it's almost supernatural what the shark can do. And like he just gives it all. In his second movie and Jaws 2, it's the same thing. Like he has to put himself in danger in the most awkward, horrible situation to relive the nightmare again, and more on his own in the second movie. So I feel like what he has to go through in the stakes, I had to put him on the list for just that. Like it's like almost being locked in a house with Michael Myers in the house, like, but you choose to lock yourself in to hopefully save somebody else. I don't know. Yeah, I love his character. I think he's a great final guy for what he puts himself through. It's a guy that is not prepared for the situation and who's not qualified. I mean, really, he's a sheriff, but he's not really qualified for sharks and stuff like that. So I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Wow, we're already to 5.
Yeah.
Okay, this one I kind of cheated on. It's technically 2 people, but it depends on how you look at the movie. And that's going to be RJ or Childs in The Thing. I mean, come on. Come
RJ?
on. Isn't it RJ?
McCready. Oh, okay. I only ever remember. Yeah. McCready. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I only ever remember the last name.
Yeah, RJ, McCready, and Childs.
That's right.
Personally, I go RJ. Most people tend to go RJ. But after watching a lot of like deep dives into the film, Childs makes way more sense than RJ, which is nuts to think about. But yeah, no. So I kind of cheated with that, but that movie, that's the one I was referring to because it comes to all those memes where it's like your parents hate it, but your kids are gonna love it. It's true. Like 90s and later kids picked up The Thing, and it's a grail piece to many of us. Like it's so well done, and it's kind of crazy how universally disliked or passed over it was when it first came out. Especially for that ending. That is a good ending. That is the best way to end it. Brilliant.
Yeah, I just showed it for the first time to my wife, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. And she was like kind of taken back with how much she liked it. Like she was just like one of those, you chew on it for a while after you watch it, like, I really like that. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, all the way through. Really enjoyed that. And so, yeah, that's especially with my wife, who's kind of hard to please, especially the older she gets. Like, we go into wacky, stupid horror, and like we can find a lot of good things and a lot of bad movies. But it's a solid one. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Man,
When you were doing a combo right there, I want to say that I want to do an honorable mention real quick, just because there were 4 of them, and I thought, like, God, I'm not going to put 4 in a top 10 list, but I wanted to put the boys from the Lost Boys, Sam, Mike, and the Frog Brothers. But I was like, I'm not going to put one over the other. I'm not going to put them on the list because it just chew up the entire list. But I'm just going to put them in as an honorable mention. If I was going to put like that in one spot, they would be in there as a group. Like they don't really outshine each other. I mean, they're a team, you know. But all right, so my number 5 is McCready from The Thing.
Here we go again.
And I know I fought between Brody and McCready, but the stakes, every time I watch The Thing, I just get that sense of dread. The characters get the reality of what's happening to them about a quarter of the way through the movie, maybe a little bit more. And it's just, you feel the gravity of the situation the whole time. The choices they have to make are not light choices. They're not like, I'm going to open this door or that door. They're like, I'm going to blow this door open, and what may come will come. And some of the character choices they have to make are intense and strong to their characters, especially McCready and a couple of them towards the end. It's a great movie from start to finish, and that character development, like you're saying too, with Childs, a lot of them like 30%, 50% or less. Like there's a lot of good character development for a lot of those characters, and man, I can't just say enough about the Thing and the characters.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, The Thing had to make both our lists. Like it's just
Had to.
it's It absolutely deserves it. I think it's hilarious that it's the same spot on both our lists, though. Um,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. Here's where we really part ways. I put my number 4 as Arkin from Collector Collection.
Wow.
Hopefully one day collected.
Wow.
Hopefully. Um, dude, after rewatching those movies so often recently, what he goes through, like going from being a kind of shady, kind of good guy to like going back to save a girl's life to, just like his character development is really good. So I
He's
think
like a
he
horror
deserves to
MacGyver.
be. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think he deserves to be that high on this list.
He's great. He really is great. And he's so captivating. Like, he's tough but vulnerable. Like, you know what I mean? He's not just like walking in and Terminator wrecking everything. Like, he can get hurt. Like, he needs to be nervous. And he just
Yeah.
conveys that so well.
Man, still to this
such a
day,
good one.
the first movie when he goes for the window, still to this day, man, I just bleh, bleh. That
That's
looks
something
like it hurt a little bit.
I'd love to go in and do a deep dive on that franchise, just to add, like, is the Collector supernatural, and then go from there. Like, because I don't want to talk about it tonight. I just think it'd be a fun topic. But
Oh, we could get into it.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
no,
So
maybe.
my number 4 is Dewey. Dewey is a weird one because he's a final guy by most of the time inserting himself into the situation. He's a cop. He's a friend. It's going around in his area. But he's always there for the most part in the last act, to where he's always a presence. He's always trying. He's not perfect, but he's willing to sacrifice. Like, he's vulnerable. He's strong. You can relate to him. I think he's a great final guy. Just overall, for the franchise, for the viewers, for everything. I love Dewey.
Yeah, no, solid pick. I'm gonna be real mad when I go through this list and he ain't in it.
That's brutal, man. You put Paul.
Yes,
put
I
Paul
did.
on the list.
I put Paul. And again, here's where we my number 3 is Tommy Jarvis.
Number 3.
Said what I said. And here's why.
Now,
How long has that franchise had to impact society? How big is the franchise? How the movie, there's a lot of movies in the franchise, but arguably the Tommy Jarvis storyline from 4 and 6 are 2 of the best entries in the franchise, and they're Tommy Jarvis movies. That's
yeah,
cool.
but like I said, he's weak sauce in the 6th one. He's weird in the 5th, and in the 6th, like his 6th is where he really shines. I just don't know if he's really. There's a lot going on with that character. There's a lot going on with him, and there's a lot going on with Jason, because that's the appearance of Supernatural. So I don't know. It's a conversation piece for sure. But for me, he falls a little short just because I don't sense a lot of strength with him. A lot of vulnerability, yes. He's willing to put himself in the situation. I just think his actual interactions with Jason are kind of few and far between. Like, it just. Like, with Jason and screen time, I bet he's got maybe 10 minutes.
No, man. I mean, the end of 6. Now, the beginning of 6 was just pure stupidity, but it was fun. So yeah, my number 3, Tommy Jarvis.
All right. Well, my number 3, in my opinion, is better than your number 3, and that is Rick O'Connell from the Mummy trilogy. Rick O'Connell is what everything a final guy probably should be. Like, a little bit vulnerable, very strong, super handsome, wielding multiple weapons, I think, and this one is actually from my wife. She threw this one in there, and I was like, I can't argue that. I think he's a great final guy all the way around. What he has to go through, what he's up against, what he's dealing with, love story, like all of it. Just, I think Rick O'Connell is a great final guy.
He's a solid pick. I didn't even think of him. Honestly, I haven't seen the Mummy movies in so long. It's kind of a crime. I really enjoyed them as they came out, and I haven't really since, and that's a problem to me. But that's a really solid mention in my opinion. Yeah.
All right, what's your number 2, man?
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Jesse from A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge.
No, come on.
Yes. Everything that he went through in that movie, and he survives.
He doesn't rise to anything, really. Like, he just kind of keeps taking it on the chin. Like, his brain is about ready to melt through his ears. Like, he's so stressed out and so overwhelmed. Like, he doesn't really rise to anything. Like, Freddy...
That's the thing. He is different than Dutch from Predator. He's not going to just be the guy who shows up and saves the day. He's more like the average person. He's terrified of what's happening.
By default.
Yeah. That's how most of us do it. Dude, I've made it to 31 by default. I just haven't croaked yet. I don't
know. I did look at Jesse for about a minute. I do really like the character of Jesse. I think he needs more in the franchise. He didn't overcome anything. He didn't really change anything. He has manipulated the whole movie. I don't know. I like it. I like that he's on there. He's history. I love the character. I just couldn't put him on there. But that's the reason why I couldn't put him on there. So, but I get the reasons you did. So, my number two beats your number 2, and I want to hear you if I'm wrong. You tell me if I'm wrong.
Right.
My number 2 is Loomis.
I didn't even think to put Loomis on it, because I saw him more as a guardian instead of a final guy. But no,
Loomis is kind of like Dewey, though. He's always chasing him down. He's always trying to get to him. He's acting, he's not reacting. Like, he's always going to Michael. Michael's never going to him. So, but he's a final guy because he's in the final of a lot of them. Yeah, no, solid pick, and now I'm disappointed he's not on my list anywhere. But, no, it's a solid pick. Now we're getting into number ones. And my number 1 is right. I will die on a hill. My number 1 is
my
right.
My number 1 is right.
I won't hear any arguments other than mine. All right, you go first. Oh, it better be him, because if he didn't make your list, I'm going to be pissed.
Ash.
Yes! Ashley J. Williams. Yes! Yes! There's only one answer. He is the final guy, except no substitutes. Yes!
Yeah. No, he's the goofy, shouldn't survive, but did, jerky. He's relatable. And there's something about, for the longest time, there was only the 3 movies that carried us over. Then we got 3 seasons of that awesome show. Now there's a video game that released last week, I think. And then there's a remake that happened. There's another reboot, retelling happening. And Ash was 90% of the story. That's why we watched the movies.
Right.
Ash was the selling point. And unfortunately, Bruce Campbell's probably not going to. He's already said he's done. Doesn't necessarily mean he's done. But a good to fair chance he's done. I mean, we got 3 seasons of that show out of him, which is pretty good. I mean, it was canceled, which sucks. So the ending's a little bit rushed.
I just watched it, yeah. Why? They had such a good ending, and then I just finished
It was set
I'm
up.
very happy with it.
It was supposed to continue. So that's the thing. They had everything written out for like another 2 seasons. So then it was canned.
I just don't understand.
But
Like, can we
I
at least
do
get a
like
budget to where we can get a CGI cartoon to finish it up? Like, give me one more season to wrap it up.
I mean, that'd be cool. But I do like Bruce Campbell's point of view. He talks about how fans are always throwing a fit that they want another movie, and he's like, look, we gave you 3 seasons of a show.
Right.
Think about how many hours that is in comparison to a movie. Think about the fact that the budget was consistent throughout. Think about the fact that the cast was consistent throughout. Like, he brought all these points, and it was refreshing to hear that take from the lead role of that. Absolutely, he has to be number one. I had a feeling he was going to be your number one too, but I also was kind of thinking you might make it Andy from Child's Play, just because of your favoritism towards the Child's Play franchise. So I'm kind of happy that didn't happen.
I like Andy. He just, the top part of my Final Guys was kind of like being a Final Guy. Also, is like I think Ash set the bar. Like I said with O'Connell, like fun, rises to the occasion, ready for anything, comes prepared, smart. Like Ash set the bar for pretty much everything, I think. So to me, he had to go on the list. He had to.
Absolutely.
I can't believe you put Paul on there.
Paul! Man, now I need to go back and rewatch Friday too. It's been a while.
I love Friday Part 2
sadly,
for all the wrong reasons.
What's sad is the first 4 films, this is how I own them. This is it. Which is really sad. But Part 3 did just get that steel case release, and I might have to go get it.
No.
No.
Why? You could have bought the first 8 for $20. You're killing me.
Oh. That's not that big of a collector's thing. If anything, I'm going to buy that second box set off of you one day.
Yeah, I do like the box set. It's pretty sweet. I'm bummed that they're starting to come out in 4K now, but I don't feel any urge to buy the Friday the 13th franchise on 4K. Like, I mean, for the most part, DVD is pretty solid. Blu-ray's great.
I don't even really have the urge for Blu-ray, except I kind of want to see Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, and the reboot on Blu-ray. Just a little bit higher quality for those 3 every now and again. But I mean, for the most part, DVDs are fine. I mean, like, I don't know if the box set has it, but this one has both theatrical and unrated versions. I mean, I watched the unrated. I have the option.
It has it on. It with a 2K scan.
I do want to see what's added to Friday 13th Part 2, but I could just YouTube it as well.
Right.
And but then again, I doubled down and I bought. Yeah, I doubled down and I bought Halloween 5, and you know what I still haven't done? Watched the whole movie on that. I've watched the Dr. Death scenes, and that's it. That's it. But you have to admit, that's pretty cool box art. This is pretty cool.
It really is.
This is pretty all right. And I mean, that case, that's pretty sweet.
Surprised you haven't turned that inside out. Because I
looked
the box
at it.
art.
I love this art. Like, I really do.
But you have the art on the box, so you ought to switch that one inside out so you got the standard H5.
Don't tell me what to do.
You do it right now. I will come through this phone and smack you in the head.
No. I think I did it for Misery. No, I didn't. Does that bug you?
Yeah. Why?
Because that's not that cool.
Yes, it is.
No.
You're already looking at one. Why not spread the love out a little bit and look at something different?
I'm not looking at it, though. Like, it sits on my shelf 99% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I don't know. I don't know if we'll. I'm kind of. You'd think we'd hear a little bit of news about Halloween 6, Halloween H2O, Resurrection coming out on 4K, since it's getting kind of close to Halloween Ends. You know, relatively close. We haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything. I wonder if they're not going to finish it off. You'd think the studios
They may
would
not
make
be
some
able
money.
to.
Yeah.
You know, they may not be able to. And one of the interesting things about that is since that Trick or Treat Studios announced the 1/6 scale Halloween Resurrection Halloween 6 figures, which is really cool because I'm not gonna lie, like when I saw the figures, my thought is like Halloween 6, of course, but I have this love for Resurrection because it's the first time I saw Michael Myers in theaters. So it's like it's a weird point that I'm like, I almost need another one. But those figures are expensive, man. Like,
They really are.
and then the stuff I sent you today, like those customs are like they can be upwards of $3,000, and it's just an unhealthy habit.
Oh yeah, and I've got plenty of them. You know that. Speaking
Yeah.
of unhealthy habits, I'm actually going to be working on probably tomorrow. I'm going to strip the stickers on this, repaint all of it from the ground up, and chrome out everything. It's going to be pretty sweet. I'm super excited. Then I'll move on to the Dragon Zord. Nice. I love the tie. Yes. Can you kind of fade that yellow a little bit? Is there a way to fade that just a little bit? Maybe leave it outside, see what happens.
That is what tons of paint, aggression, and fabric dye is going to do.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm not as good with fabrics. Like I'm good with plastic.
I mean, this is it's vinyl.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I'd get impatient with that and just tear it.
Oh, I'm going to be incredibly impatient. But also, most of it gets covered in like a dirt, grime, and then blood, which is fairly easy. And then I do think I might be doing that build that I told you about. I'm going to try and keep most of that under wraps until I can do mostly reveals, though. I'm really excited to do it because you have to. Those were cool, right? Like,
Yeah.
that, I'm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. If
So-
you as you go along, yeah, you got to post some photos on JK just to kind of or on the Facebook page, just to kind of keep up with it, and then maybe show a final thing when you're done, like when you're comfortable, like rolling it out a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny because it evolved from being a screen accurate concept to, man, I remember these and thinking they were cool, and then I looked them up more today, and I was like, that's it, that's it. And the 2-year-old agreed. So,
Right. Hey,
What
real
can
quick
you do?
before we go, okay, so I just want to go over this with you. So I've got Clown, but Bloodline. What is that? Blinko Experiment, Battle Royale, and yeah, about House 2 and Stir of Echoes. What should I watch next?
Belko Experiment's the most fun.
Okay.
Stir of Echoes is probably my favorite in that bunch of films.
Okay. I can't. I'm sorry. I know I've asked you. I apologize. Have you watched? Did you watch that Bloodline though?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
weird. It's a really weird and weirdly paced movie, but I did enjoy it.
Okay.
Um,
Hey, did you get a chance to watch The Iceman?
no,
No.
I haven't
Yeah.
really
Oh,
popped much in this week. This has been busy, and I need to mow the grass again. So got
yeah.
that going for me.
No, I've been kind of like um, treating myself a little bit. What I do is just say like, look, if you work out, if you got the TV, got the headphones on, if you work out, you sit there for an hour, give it a good workout, hour and a half, whatever, you can watch a movie. So I've almost been like enticing myself to like, look, you can go to bed early, or you can work out and watch a movie. I've been trying to work out and watch a movie just to to feel a little less guilty than just sitting on the couch. Because if I sit on the couch, I'm probably going to drink a beer or eat some potato chips or something else that's going to be opposite. I've been staying away from ice cream. My wife and my kid has been hitting ice cream like fiends, and I'm over here like, I don't need it. I don't need it. My brother has lost like 20 pounds since I've seen him in the last year, and I've gained his 20, and it's just like, God dang it.
Yeah, I need to lose 20 to 35 to be back where I was for that Jason X at Crypticon. And
Yeah,
I mean, I'd like to go further, but if I could make it to that, I'd be all right with this new concept that I'm going after.
yeah. Well, if you do that, um, Leatherface though, like you're a solid build right now for the Leatherface. So I mean,
Yeah, but
30 pounds is no joke. I've lost 20 pounds, but it took me 2 months in a diet I would not recommend to anybody. Working out 5 days a week, I hated it so much. Like I I wish I was a
I
person that had the problem gaining weight. I know skinny people hate that, but I would rather be skinny and have to gain than be big and have to lose. It's so hard to lose for me. I know it's hard to gain too, and it's not healthy to gain either when you're tiny. But
I don't know, man. I lost 15 in a month just on diet alone, and that wasn't too
nice,
hard.
good.
Um,
Oh yeah,
so I can do it. It's just a matter of like, dude, the hard part is when it's been a long day, I look at the options to cook and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I order something out or, and then when I order out, it's like, I'm getting out food. I don't want to eat the fish and the salad. Like,
right.
first off, it's 10 times more than the cheeseburger and it doesn't taste as good.
I know it kills me to
But
buy a salad, man. It kills me. Yeah, dude. Just as a side note, from 3 to 9, IHOP has happy hour. I don't know if I told you this. Epic meal deals for $6 and $3. For $3, you can get French toast, like 2 pieces cut up, 4 pieces all total, like delicious. You get a whole plate of fries and onion rings for $3. Like my wife, I got a BLT and some fries for $6. She got a breakfast bowl, hash browns, bacon, and eggs. It was like a solid like 4 pounds of food. It was ridiculous for $6. Like we both should have been able to eat that. She ate it all, but we both should have
uh,
been able to.
so back when restaurants started doing those promotions because of the COVID shutdowns, we were doing IHOP, and we got IHOP one night, and I took a bite of my eggs, and there was a candy wrapper mixed in with them.
Oh,
So, and then I grabbed something else, and there was like hair, and that I don't think I can go back to IHOP like ever
IHOP
again.
seems like it's been struggling. We've been to 2 IHOPs in the past like 3 weeks, and like they seem really run down. Don't have a lot of people working there. I don't
Well, they
know.
pay
I don't know.
garbage,
Yeah,
like,
maybe that's it. I
and
don't know.
And I know I saw in the news that dude went nuts at an IHOP that only had like 3 people on staff, and it's like, dude, what do you want? If there's only 3 people on staff and they agreed to serve you, you need to sit down and shut up or leave.
Right.
Like, those are your options. Don't get up and start throwing a fit because it's taken longer than you wanted to wait for your food. Don't be a terrible human.
Right.
If you don't want to
Well,
wait
that's
that
the thing,
long,
yeah.
leave.
Just take it on the chin, and next time don't go back. Like just learn your lesson
Yeah.
and don't go back. Like you don't have to be mean about it. No.
Like, God forbid, I'll bet nobody has I'll bet he's never taken longer on a project than he anticipated. Never
Right.
once.
Right. Right.
Sorry,
Well,
I have some humanity issues at the moment.
no, you're good. No, I think a lot of people do, so that's okay. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. Caleb's list is a little wonky, but I like it. That's why I like, because Caleb and I are very different thoughts. Sometimes we line up, and sometimes we don't.
Oh,
Well, that's a weird one, dude. It's weird how many Pauls are in the Halloween and Friday the 13th, and how many Tinas are in both. Like, what is it with Paul and Tina? I don't understand.
I don't know. Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and Friday the 13th. I don't know, man.
Tina.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was a weird 80s thing. I don't know. But or a 70s, 80s thing. I don't know. But anyway, had a lot of fun tonight. Maybe next week we'll do top 10 final girls. A lot easier, a lot more to choose from. They really weed themselves out, but a lot of arguments can be made because there's a ton of them, which might actually, if you put too much thought into it, might be a little bit harder, but we'll find out. If you're watching in the future on Facebook, thank you very much. If you're watching on future later on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, please, so you can get some more R&R. Until next time, we're out of here.
Peace.